Hi, my name is Zan Berry, and I'm 31 years old. I'm a um, artist and an educator. I perform as a cellist in Providence, and I work here at Mathewson Street Church with the Tenderloin Opera Company, and we have meetings every week, and we write operas at the end of every year telling stories of homelessness in Rhode Island. And many of our members are also very active in the homeless advocacy scene as well. And I've been here since 2016, and I'm really focused. A lot of my work focuses on building creative communities in Providence and I'm interested in connecting different artists across disciplines and just building more accessible arts communities. So I've been working in coordination with Rhode Island Organizing Project and Tenderloin Opera Company. We've been working on collecting information and feedback from writers in Kennedy Plaza that's pertaining to this multi-hub bus proposal. And all summer during that time, mostly what we heard was that it was a really bad idea. This plan was going to so many different people rely on the centrality of Kennedy Plaza just to get to school, to get to work, to get to appointments. And we were hearing a lot of feedback around just making Kennedy Plaza better while we were there and more safe in terms of making better pedestrian safety, particularly for elderly and disabled folks, people with mobility issues, and also feeling like there's more safety at the plaza itself in terms of security and just people able to check in if they need help and then also more structures there too, and just feeling like maybe investing in better bathroom facilities and things like that. So we heard a lot of feedback, but none of the feedback was actually that the transit, as far as a transit hub, I think it seems like KP is working for a large portion of the people that ride RIPTA buses, and just the centrality of that makes the flow of the buses in and out convenient for folks. Or there was a lot of skepticism around it in that it's been something that business owners downtown and politicians have been trying to do for a long time, and there's constantly been oh, we gotta redevelop Kennedy Plaza, and so there was a little bit of so now at this point, so now we're just gonna get rid of it, and then what happens, and sort of there was a lot of just this doesn't really make sense, because we already have this space, and it's generally working, but I mean there's definitely things that could be better. It's also been a hard thing is I don't feel like the people that are making the plans are sharing what it's going to look like, and there's not really much of a conversation happening around that. And so that was very clear talking to people, is that there just doesn't seem to be much of a dialogue about it. So I do drive a car, and I use my car a lot to get to gigs as a musician all around the state, and it's also helpful for playing a cello, being able to lug a large instrument around the state. But I also walk a lot within Providence. I live in the middle of downtown, which I like as kind of a central place where you can walk to different areas of the city, usually within 30 minutes or so, Um, and so I enjoy that. I do, as a pedestrian, I notice like a lots of need for better crosswalks, better, especially I actually park over by across the highway over by the Freeway Laundry place over by Broadway, and so I cross over John J. Partington Way every day, and I'm a younger, like able-bodied person, but and I feel afraid sometimes to cross that street. So it's for somebody that's older or just doesn't move as quickly or has trouble getting around. I always think about that whenever I cross, that it's just the crossing signals aren't long enough, and people are moving really fast on that road. So it's just and people turning onto the road too. It's always like they're not really looking for pedestrians, and there's not like a clear enough marked pedestrian zone where it's like, watch out. Because I used to just be able to walk across Broadway to get to where I need to go, but now you can't cross there, and there's just no options for pedestrians. I know, like I've seen in other, and I often notice that in Providence, but I know like I was just in New York City, and they have such a system for sort of navigating pedestrians in and out of construction zones, but here it often feels like, well, you just have to like cross, and anytime you have to cross the street, it's just like potentially, especially in that area, it's potentially dangerous, and so to like force people to cross like 3 or 4 more times just to go like in a straight direction without like accommodating them through construction zones is just not very considerate of people. It's just so clear that there's just a disconnect in terms of from the politicians and business owners who might not rely on the bus. They just don't. I think there just needs to be more dialogue with people that ride the bus, and bringing them into decision-making processes about public transportation. And I think it also just means like really investing purely in transit, and not investing in even like a lot of the multi-hub plan. It feels more like a business plan for like downtown Providence than an actual transit plan. And even, I mean, investing in it by making it more accessible through, I think, just more frequent buses at stops is great, and like investing in better shelters, not just at Kennedy Plaza, but like throughout Providence and throughout the state too, so that the whole thing will run smoother. And then not sort of getting away from such a car-centric mindset around the way like a city should be. And I think like if just like politicians invest in public transportation, I think it really benefits everybody. It makes it easier to get around. It'll be more sustainable if we're trying to like meet climate goals, and it'll there's so many things that it can benefit. And I think it's just like there's still feels like this disconnect, or like hanging on to, well, we just have to be faster and like more convenient for people that own cars. And then if you don't have a car, or if you use the bus or walk to get places, tough. It's just like